I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you would stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone, and welcome everyone who's watching from home. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee DeVore?
Present.
Trustee Gatt?
Present.
Trustee Kazam?
Present.
Trustee Reichert?
Present.
Trustee Wigginton?
Present.
Trustee Weisenberg?
Present.
All right, welcome everyone. We do have a quorum. Next is approval of the Board of Trustees minutes from November 19th, 2024. I'd ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Any corrections or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. We would be at comments from the audience on agenda items only. If anyone is here tonight to address the board on agenda items, now's the time. Comments from the audience going once, twice. Comments are closed. We'd be at old business. Any old business come before the board? Okay. Let's get right into new business then. We have an item under Economic and Community Development. It's Ordinance 2024-1744, Village of Peoria Heights, Illinois Business Development District Number 1, redevelopment agreement by and between the Village of Peoria Heights, Illinois and Clink LLC and Sam P. Hubbard, 4450 North Prospect Road, Suite S12. Trustee Kazam would ask for a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
And a second, please. Okay, go right ahead.
So this is a local business. Obviously, we're all familiar with Mr. Heppert and Clink Bar, and he's requesting $7,557 to replace his sign at his restaurant.
Go ahead,
Director
Mr. Aldridge.
Thanks, Mayor. We omitted a clause that we've used in the past in this agreement. So if you wish to include this, the agreement would have to be amended. But this is the clause for signage. We did it, I think it was for Roof Tiger in the past, where when we approve signs, since they're a business-specific type of an agreement and a grant, where it really is a loan. It's a forgivable loan. So in this case, the amount would be given to Clink Bar up front as a forgivable loan. So over the period of 5 years, if the business is in good standing after 5 years, all the interest and everything is forgiven for that. But interest accrues at 3% per year, and then after the term of 5 years, it's forgiven. If the business fails within that period, then we would expect payment back for, that rated period over that 5-year period. So again, it was a clause included in a past agreement and not in this, and I apologize for that, but if you'd like to include that.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. So if there's a consensus, we can do it that way. If someone would like to make an amendment, we can do it either way you prefer. What's your pleasure?
I'm okay with the amendment.
So it's not standard in this, but our last one that we approved for signage, we did have that clause, and we don't have it in this one.
That's correct.
Okay.
And again, if the board wants to move forward with that type of thing, if it's in the minutes, we would kind of adopt it as a guideline.
I certainly think going forward, it's a good policy to have, particularly in a municipality where, we are encouraging small business, sales tax generating business, which this certainly is, but to purchase, or at least help to purchase a sign for businesses that may be in here for a short amount of time and then be able to take that sign with them isn't something, I don't know that that's good fiscal responsibility for the Business Development District funds. Now, in this case, Clink and Mr. Heppert have been in our community for quite some time in different forms already, and I don't see them leaving anytime soon, hopefully. He's here tonight in the audience. But I do think it's something that is very prudent for us to adopt.
I think if we did it on the last one, though, we should create like a standard, like, and stay the same. So I would be in favor of making a motion to add the clause to this contract.
All right, let's do it that, so you're making an amendment, trustee DeVore?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, on the amendment only. Anything else on the amendment?
Just so I understand, Mayor, because Wayne, so with the way you set it up on the previous amendment, the way this amendment to this will work, is that we're giving a loan to this business. If the business is not there within the 5 years, interest is due on the loan as well as the principal?
That's correct, prorated, yeah, over the 5 years.
Okay. Thank you.
Good question, all right. Anyone else? All right, on the amendment, Madam Clerk.
Okay. So I currently have the amendment reading as follows. Council, please advise me if it needs to be corrected.
Certainly.
The amendment is for including a clause which specifies that the agreement is a loan accruing 3% interest a year, which is to be forgiven after 5 years if the business is good standing, amount to be repaid, prorated for the duration of the business's life,
I
including
think it's
interest.
prorated over the 5-year period.
Prorated over the 5 years, okay.
Okay,
Okay.
whenever you're ready, Madam Clerk.
Trustee DeVore?
Aye.
Trustee Gatt?
Aye.
Trustee Kazam?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Aye. Trustee Wigginton?
Aye.
Trustee Weisenberg?
Aye.
Okay, the amendment passes. Back to the main motion as amended. Before we vote on that, Sam, I see you sitting out there. Anything you want to come up and tell the board on your sign? If you would, please, so everyone could hear you at home, come to the microphone. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, so we do have signage, but the way Heritage Square is set up, we've just gotten a lot of comments where we don't have a front-facing sign facing Prospect, and so we get a lot of confusion that we are Brienzo's because they have a big sign right in the front. And so we are going to put a sign on the front face showing toward Prospect. And so that's what we were asking for tonight, because we just get a lot of confusion of, are we Clink, are we Brienzo's? So this is just like an ask to get better,
Visibility.
look and signage on Prospect and things like that for us. So I think that'll help us out a lot.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
And the trustee Kazam gave us the number, but I was confused. Is it, there's 7,000
So
number?
the
and there's-
ask is for more, but it's 75% of, so the amount of BDD funds, the total project costs are $7,557. But what he actually receives is less than that. Isn't that right, Director Aldrich?
The amount,
No, I'm sorry. No, I
yeah,
was
the
correct the first time.
75% is
Yes.
$8,773.
So, pardon me, the cost of the sign is $11,630. And so what he is requesting is $7,557.
And again, that's that's a past precedent.
That's a
that we
past precedent.
commonly
That's how we've
do
always-
for signs.
So it's not this 8,773?
It is the 8,773.
Where are you seeing that?
Page 3.
Page 4 is what I'm looking at.
3 or 4. Page 3 is the middleware as follows, and page 4 is under B, incentives.
Okay, but on page 13,
And
it
12.
says the amount of funds requested is $7,557.
That's what I was looking at.
So the sign estimate on page 12 is
There was-
just over,
Yeah, and that was the application. There was a new estimate submitted for $11,630.
okay.
Which we accepted.
And we are awarding then 8,000?
Yes, which
Okay.
is 75% of
Okay.
that, yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Back to the main motion as amended, Madam Clerk.
Trustee DeVore?
Aye.
Trustee Gatt?
Aye.
Trustee Kazam?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert? Aye. Trustee Wigginton?
Aye.
Trustee Weisenberg?
Aye.
All right, that passes. Thanks for all you
Thanks,
do,
guys.
Sam.
Appreciate
Good luck. All right, trustee Kazam, anything else under economic development?
No, not this evening, Mayor, although Director Aldrich may have something, I don't know.
Just an announcement, and that's tomorrow evening, December 4th, at the Peoria Heights Grade School Gymnasium, public meeting on Route 29. So this will kind of, IDOT's holding this, so that'll be the last public meeting for the Phase 1 engineering for the project. So everyone's welcome to attend from 4 to 6 p.m.
What date was that, Director Aldridge?
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, thank you.
Welcome and encouraged.
Yes,
From 4 to 6?
yes.
Okay.
So just quickly for everyone in the audience and watching at home, could you give an explanation of where we started, where we're going to be, but where we are now?
So with Route 29?
Yes.
So yeah, this is, again, very complex project for IDOT. Route 29 will be expanded in most cases to a 5-lane section with a bidirectional turn lane in the middle, which hopefully will resolve most of the safety issues out there. Also included is a 10-foot shared use path on the west side, on the bluff side of the road. So this project basically starts at the McCluggage Bridge and runs up past Gardner Lane. Again, there's talk of expanding both the shared use path and the roadway improvement to the north in the future. So good conversations on that. This will get us out of, again, the Phase 1 preliminary engineering phase of the project, which is the conceptual design phase. And then the next phase, which hopefully will start early next year, is the actual design phase where they prepare construction plans for the project. So maybe additional public meetings throughout that, but we'll be involved with that phase as well.
Has this
Thank you.
meeting been announced in any other way besides, like, how have we told the people about this meeting?
It's been, IDOT has published it, I know, and then it's been on our website.
Okay.
Right.
It was also, the news picked up on it, and it was on WMBD. I guess the big issue is they're moving that pavilion that's down on
Yeah.
Grandview Park. They're
They're
taking it
literally
down
picking it up,
and moving
moving
it
it.
20 feet back. And I looked at the Peoria Park District budget, and they've budgeted like $100,000 for that pavilion this year, this fiscal year. So I don't know if they're going to spend it and then move it. I don't know. It's a taxing body over there.
Can you confirm if it's in the gymnasium or in the Patriotplex for the meeting?
I believe it's in the gymnasium.
Okay,
Grade
because I
school
just
gymnasium.
I just texted the basketball coach to make sure he knows.
Well,
Because he's probably got practice at least
yeah,
until 4:30.
And
so.
there'll be signs up around the site,
Okay.
as has been in the past.
I just
so.
checked the school calendar and it wasn't on there, so I wanted to
The
make
the
sure.
only other thing, Mayor, is that we, as you know, applied for grant monies for lighting for that project. So hopefully hear about that early next year if we got those grant funds. And we'll be working with IDOT throughout their design phase on that and water improvements, that type of thing.
Okay, thank you for the update. Let's move on to administration and finance. We have an ordinance 2024-1745, adoption of the 2024-2025 annual tax levy for the village and the library. Trustee DeVore, I'd ask for a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-1745.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Trustee DeVore.
Well, it's that time of year again where we get to pass our levy, and I'm really happy to announce that despite some recent conversations that we have had at this board, we are not raising the tax levy. It is actually lower than it was last year. And so out of the last 4 years, 3 of those years, we have been able to lower this levy. In 1 year, we were able to keep it the same. So I think it's a positive thing for us that we've been able to maintain and not continue to add increases when other taxing bodies have really had to add major increases onto the people. So excited about that and think this is a good move forward for us.
Thank you very much for that explanation. Sean Edwards, welcome. Would you like to tell us about if this levy meets your needs? I hope it does.
Yes. In fact, we haven't, in the last 5 or 6 years, our levy has been pretty much the same. I mean, it hasn't varied more than about 10 or 15,000 up or down. right now, the biggest concern that we have is the remodeling and construction project that we've been working on for the last few years. And we've had some progress this year, though. We put out an RFQ earlier this year, and the board interviewed a couple of firms and decided to engage with the firm of Engelberg Anderson out of Chicago. And we're at the process right now of this month starting on the actual site surveys and environmental studies and things like that. So we're pretty far into actually getting to the point where there's going to be a schematic design hopefully by spring. At that point, we're hoping to apply for a Public Library Construction Act grant, which would, for our library, the grant index gives us about 62% coverage of any expenses that we would have on that if it were funded. But that's due April 15th. The architect is aware of that, and we're working toward actually applying for that grant this year. Whether or not it's funded this year, I don't know. The state funds, maybe they'll fund those types of grants this year, maybe they won't, but we're in the process of looking at what the costs are going to be so that we've got something to work with for the grant. So we'll have a better idea in spring, probably by the next levy meeting, of where we're at and what kind of costs we're looking at and what the chances are of being funded significantly. But once we've actually gone through the project, I would expect that we'll probably be looking at a slight boost in our levy, just because I'm looking at probably needing at least an additional person, just, probably not that much, not that significant on a year-to-year basis, and we can probably adjust our levy without any significant, addition to what we've been doing for the last 5 or 6 years. So I think right now we're in a good place. Do you guys have any questions of me?
I do. Could you speak to the square footage you're adding and then the use of the square footage?
Square footage right now, I'm not entirely sure what we're looking at beyond maybe another 5,000 feet. What we're looking at potentially is adding about 4 study rooms and a small conference room onto the south end of the building where the parking lot is at. That would be the major point of expansion. The rest of it would be splitting the library and kind of in half, so that we've got a children's section and an adult section, mainly for sound damping purposes for the children's department, and then security for the children's department. We've still have roof issues. That's a concern. We've got some tile issues. Their tile is settling into portions of the library and cracking. Throw all these things into the mix, and I'm not sure where we're going to end up. It depends on what the environmental studies and the building surveys turn up. We've been assured that the building is in good shape, but once we get the engineers in and they have a look at it, I'm not sure what we're going to end up with. But we're still a ways from figuring out what kind of costs are involved. But we've got a fairly good idea of what we want to do with the building. There will hopefully be some, a little later on in the year, some public conversations about it, so that we can engage, the citizenry of Peoria Heights to see what they think about the whole thing. But right now, we're at least at the point where we have an architect and we're working on an actual schematic. So.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, I want to just compliment your administration as well as Chief Sutton and Trustee DeVore on this levy. I think looking at the last 5 years, it's never been lower than it is this year from our perspective, from our village perspective, and I think that's a testament to us being frugal, being responsible with our citizens' money, and really encouraging economic growth here in the village, which pays for public works, which pays for our employees here, so we don't have to tax our residents. So I applaud you, Administrator Sutton, Trustee DeVore, and the rest of the board for really keeping our costs low when, frankly, the beginning of this budget year, I would never have thought that we would be where we are with this lowest levy in the last 5 years. So I think pretty darn amazing that this happened, so congratulations.
Well, thank you for your kind words. I can't accept any credit, but it's been a team effort. The board's made good decisions. I think, one of our strategic goals was to hire an economic development director. We've done that. I think that's paid dividends, but I would give most of the credit to people like Sam who are sitting out in the audience, that we've been very successful at attracting small business. We're not out for the huge big box stores or the next factory, but we've been very successful at attracting family businesses that are doing very well here. They're thriving, and I think we've got a good policy and doing our best to foster and nurture those businesses. So thanks, but I really just want to give a lot of credit to the people who do business here, and let's continue to work hard to make it a good environment for them to thrive in. So thank you, Trustee Wigington. Anyone else on the levy? Madam Clerk?
Trustee DeVore?
Aye.
Trustee Gett?
Aye.
Trustee Kazam?
Aye.
Trustee Reichert?
Aye.
Trustee Wigington?
Aye.
Trustee Weisenberg?
Aye.
All right, that passes. The levy's set. Trustee DeVore, anything else?
Not today, Mayor.
All right. We'd be at miscellaneous. Any miscellaneous to come before the board?
One thing, we do have some representation today from the fire department. Fire's
Let's do
been
that. Yes, thank you.
pretty active today, so I don't know if Mr. Thompson wants to say anything?
So we had a fire at, I believe it was roughly around 7:30 this morning. So from the initial time of call to the time we set our air brake in front of the house, it was 3 minutes. And from the initial time of call to the fire being under control was 12 minutes. So, I mean, pretty outstanding work. Well, that's with 2 firemen on the fire engine and Chief Decker. The operation actually went so well that Chief Decker was actually able to cancel all of our mutual aid companies minus Peoria, who was already on the way. So, yeah, it went very well, and I think that's something we can come to expect going forward.
Thank you for that report, and give our best to everyone on the fire department. Any other thing you would like to tell us on fire?
No, so we were able to contain the fire to one room, the kitchen. It was Peoria's fire investigator, Josh Harris, was able to determine that it was an accidental start. We were actually able to make entry into the house and rescue the resident's dog and keep damage minimal to roughly around $50,000. So wow. It was a very good stop.
All right. Deputy Chief Ahart, anything on the police side?
No, sir.
Okay.
I just confirmed with the building principal that it will be in the Patriot Plex, your meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
So there's a special entrance for it, so they can go down to that, so.
Thank you.
Let you know.
Chief Earhart hosted the neighbor, or actually it was our detective Jody hosted the neighborhood watch meeting. We didn't have the largest turnout ever, which again I think is a testament to the safe community we have here, and luckily we don't have any major issues popping up. So I think we take that with good result there as well.
Thank you. Any other miscellaneous?
Mayor, just forgot to mention, active transportation plan, the final, just wrapping up of the report will be done before the end of the year. You see the boards are out at the rear of the building, so that's from our last public meeting. So expect that to wrap up, and I hope Jim is able to give a presentation to the board again, just a brief presentation, so in the near future.
Okay, thank you. I have one item that I had planned to put on the next agenda, but after I got thinking about it, I think it would be more timely to approve it tonight. I'd ask for your approval or a consensus to donate $1,000 to each food pantry here in the village. Peoria Heights Congregational Church and St. Thomas Church, they serve a lot of people, and it would be nice to put some money in their coffers. I talked to the administrator today. We do have $1,000 each budgeted. If you'd like to do it this way, I'd ask for a consensus. If not, I'll put it on the next agenda for action.
I don't have a problem with it. Sounds
Has
like
there
a
been
good
any talk
idea.
about donating to the grade school for theirs as well? Nobody's reached out?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
We've done this in the past, and I am completely in agreement with this proposal, so.
Yeah, me too. Both St. Thomas as well as the Congregational Church serve our really well, do a good job, so no problem.
Same here, same here.
Okay.
Agreed.
Counsel, you all right with that?
I am.
All right. So, Madam Clerk, if you'd make a note to the administrator to get those checks cut
I will
ASAP.
put them in the next set of budget, or the next set of bills.
Thank you. Any other,
If you want to have a good paper trail, put it on the next agenda to ratify. In
On
other
the
words,
next agenda to
we've
ratify.
approved it tonight. We'll formalize it at the next meeting, but you can go ahead and cut the checks now.
thank you. Any other miscellaneous? We'd be at general comments from the audience. If anyone would like to make a general comment, please come forward. Give your name and address and try and keep your remarks under 5 minutes. General comments going once, twice. Comments are closed. Trustee Gett?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?